the age of 16, I started playing music with some friends of mine. And that went from playing in a band at small clubs, small bars, to going on tour all over the US. We went from just playing those small shows to selling close to 20,000 records. It was pretty awesome. I got to do and see a lot of crazy stuff over the years. Around that time, I started dabbling in graphic design a lot. I started making flyers for my own band. I started producing album artwork for some record labels that I came in contact with. And then I really got involved into the graphic design side of things. And then eventually when our band split in 2010, I took graphic design full time. And with graphic design, you have to have a camera because people need stock photography. And I got a camera, and then it literally exploded. Things just opened up to me. I was being more creatively fulfilled than ever, and I found a really liking towards conceptual photography, towards dramatic lighting, towards things that really brought out mood and energy via lighting and via composition, things of that nature. So I started a little over 3 years ago, and it's literally just taken over my life. I've been utterly obsessed with photography since day one, and I've since referred all my clients, graphic design clients, off to my buddy Jeremy, and don't play music anymore, unfortunately, because it really has taken over my life. I try to pick up guitar every now and then, but it is what it is. So these are some of the photos that I've done over the past few years, more than likely a year. I've been able to travel all over the place for photography, and it's taken me some really crazy places that I can't describe, especially this year. But today we're going to talk about a little bit about the importance of finding your niche in this market, and then being unique to you, and then more importantly, being versatile in those situations. So can anyone tell me, by the way, I like this to be like a very interactive thing. So like if you have any questions, just interrupt me and just say, what's that? Or hey, most of my workshops, I teach a lot of workshops all across the country, and I think that most of those are for photographers. We probably have a mixture of both here, photographers, artists, a lot of different people. So I think that if you have any questions, just feel free to shout it out. Can anyone guess what this was taken with? This was taken by my buddy João Carlos, and he's a Hasselblad master. And if you don't know what a Hasselblad camera is, it's about a $50,000 camera, right? It's insane. It's a very expensive camera, medium format. But he didn't take this with a Hasselblad. That's your first clue. What do you think he took this with? That's good. Very good. So the icebreaker was so awesome this morning because it's exactly what I'm talking about. It's such an exciting time for photography. It's an incredible time for photography. I think that a lot of people, a lot of photographers who are the old school guys are like, oh no, there's too many photographers, there's so much noise out there. There's a lot of noise, but it's the best time for photography ever because everyone is sharing content, they're sharing imagery. Photography is everywhere. Instagram, you guys are sharing content every day. You guys are sharing photos every day. You're taking photos all the time. Like, you've probably already taken about 17 photos this morning, So it's true. It's crazy. It's a very thrilling time for photography. And I think that it's important as a photographer just to adapt to that. And so that's what I've done. You got to be unique to you, though. It's so important is that with all this noise out here, all you guys shooting pictures, you have to be the best photographer you can be, and you have to find what you're good at. So that's when it comes down to style, is finding your style, finding your niche, finding what you're really good at, and then being the expert at it. And so many of my clients, they come to me and they know that I'm the expert at one thing. Now, they know that also if they ask me to do something else, I'll either try to do it or I'll refer to them to one of my friends that will do it. But be unique to you, be special to you, and when you take photos, make sure that it has some heart in it with you. If that makes sense. So in the first year, this is the photography I captured. This is the first year of my photography. I went crazy with lighting. I was doing like light painting and dramatic light and lighting in umbrellas and, you know, lighting flashes and just doing all sorts of crazy stuff, natural light. I was really finding what I like in lighting, and a lot of this I look back and I puke, because it's awful. But I think that, you know, this is a time of experimentation for me. And then I found my style, and I was able to really niche myself into something that I call my photography, my work today. So find your niche, okay? So when I talk to my agency about this stuff, I have an agency out of Philadelphia, and they've consulted me with a lot of stuff. They're like, those guys in LA and New York, they are good at one single thing. So if you look at photographers that are the big photographers like Leibovitz and Tara Richardson and, you know, Miller Mobley and Norman John Roy and all these huge photographers, Richard Avedon, they are good at one thing. They are good at portraits, they're good at fashion, they're good at you know, the snapshot style. They're good at that one thing. You don't rarely see them, or they don't market it to shoot something else. You don't see their other style of photographs because that's what they do, and they do it really well. So as a photographer, it's important to really find my niche, find what I do really well, and then excel at it and be the expert at it. And that's what I've done with, I've sort of branded myself as the editorial photographer here, as the fashion photographer around here. Even though fashion is something that I shoot a lot, it's not necessarily what I want to do forever. I want to move more into the portrait world, but in the editorial world. So I'm really the editorial photographer, and that's what I've niched my way to be in this market. So find your niche. Ask yourself, what is your style? And then ask yourself, what's your market? So here in Louisville, the market's fairly small, but we have a lot of creative stuff going on constantly. There's so much opportunities for everyone to really excel in this market because there's a lot of cool stuff going on. So ask what your style is. If you don't know what your style is, then find it. And you find it by shooting. And you shoot a lot. And you shoot every day. You know, even if it's your cell phone, or even if it's designing, even if it's blogging, even if it's writing, you write a lot. You write, you shoot, you design, stitch, whatever, and until you find what you're really good at, and then go for it. And then you realize, what is your market? You know, who are you selling to? Find your demographic. That goes into a little bit of marketing. But if you guys have any questions regarding marketing, I could talk to your freaking eyes out on that one, trust me. Is that it's so awesome you guys are here because you need to build relationships. Like I said, I want to talk to every single one of you if I can, because relationships lead to open doors, always. So it's like when I built relationships, I built a reputation, and then I said no. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, is that I wasn't afraid to say no, I'm not going to do this job, or no, I won't be that cheap. I'm this price, and I started branding myself as that person and that photographer. And I think that was the turning point where I started getting bigger clients because I started working with better clients. So that was the turning point for sure. So yeah, this is a little behind the scenes of us shooting an editorial in the Walsh construction zone downtown. It was pretty awesome, pretty cool to do. This is of Jake Casey, the Cincinnati Ballet. He's getting some new promo shots. So exploring your versatility. So we all talked about niche. We've find your style, find who you are, but it's really important to be versatile in any scenario as a photographer. So for example, I can shoot architectural photography, I can shoot photojournalism, I can shoot jewelry, I can shoot anything I want to, and I'm pretty good at it. You know, I'm confident at it. That's not what I do though, and that's not what I market to everyone. You know, but I'm versatile. So let me tell you a story. This is the CEO of US LBM Holdings. I was hired to shoot for Pro Sales Magazine. Pro Sales Magazine is a trade magazine for the lumber industry. I shoot a lot for trade magazines. It's specific magazines that concentrate on specific focus areas such as mechanics, lumber, flooring, poultry industry. I've shot for a lot. I've shot in meat packing plants and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I had to wear a whole outfit. That was fun to shoot in. That was fun. But anyway, so he just acquired K&I Lumber. You guys ever heard of K&I Lumber down in Westport? So he's based in Chicago. His company is a conglomerate that just acquired K&I Lumber. I was hired by Pro Sales Magazine to shoot his portrait for the cover and a few editorial features inside the magazine. Well, I knew that they had just acquired this company, so I was like thinking to myself, what if I get out there before the shoot and I go around and shoot some of the buildings, shoot some of this company that they are just recently acquired, because they probably have no photos of it. So that's what I did. I went there at sunrise, and this is stuff I do not shoot ever. You know, I'm not even that great at it, but I did it. And I shot these photos, and I ended up making more money off licensing these photos than I was paid by the magazine. Because that company, USLBM Holdings, was like, these photos are awesome, which, you know, they're pretty generic, but they're like, we need all this. We want to do a whole, you know, license for 2 years, advertising, the whole gamut. And again, I made about 3 times as much money off these photos than I did off these photos. So it goes to show that you have to be versatile in situations, and then when you see an opportunity to be versatile in these situations, take it. Another example is shooting jewelry. So I'm hired to shoot jewelry a lot, and it's good money. It's good. It can be good money. Now that is stuff I don't market at all. I don't have to market it to you, but I shoot it, you know. So I've branded myself as this editorial photographer, advertising photographer, but I can shoot a lot of different things. And this leads into the next thing, is that we are no longer just photographers, we are content creators. And that's it right there, guys. You have to think yourself as a content creator. And once you think of yourself as a content creator, then people will buy into your brand to create content. And photography will never go away. Print might go away. Print probably will go away very soon, but imagery will never go away. So I'm very secure with my job. You know, I think I'm going to be okay as long as I adapt to the times. So we're no longer photographers, we're content creators. And that's what I was hired to do when I went over to Africa and when I went over to India, and now I'm going to Cuba next week. So it's crazy. It's been a whirlwind. Come on, man. Yeah, it's okay. It's been crazy for me because I was hired by the Waterboys Nonprofit Foundation and the NFL to go over to Tanzania, Africa, and build content for this guy right here. That's Chris Long. He plays for the St. Louis Rams. And that is Doug Pitt. You might recognize him as Brad Pitt's brother. So he's a really good guy. He's really fun. Went over there to build content for Chris Long, his foundation, Waterboys, and the NFL. And that's all they needed was content. They needed this stuff to post on their social media site, Instagram. And I got paid for it, and all expenses paid, and that's what I've built my brand to do. So this is some photographs that went over there that they've used to promote Waterboys, that they've used to promote through the NFL on ESPN, things of that nature. And this is just, at the end of the day, imagery. It's content. And this is what brands need these days. Everyone needs content. I need content. I wake up and I think about social media. Kelsey? Yes. Yeah. Every day I think about social media. What can I post today that's interesting? Or what can I share today that people will engage? And then I think about, okay, this is good for Facebook, this is good for Instagram, this is good for Twitter. So yeah, this is, again, just going through some of my Africa photos in Tanzania that was captured. And then going to India, this is, her name is Anathi, and Anathi is considered the Mother Teresa of India. And we went over for her school. I was hired to build content for the Friends of the Good Samaritan School. And that is all they needed, was content. That's why we went over there. And so she has taken 5 students from the bathroom slums into 5,000 students in 3 locations. And her school is huge. And these students are just amazing. And they're all from the slums of India. So this is where we went to capture all this stuff. We were in the slums for about 3 weeks. We stayed, it was pretty rough, but it was such an experience, an eye-opening experience that I was able to go over there and capture. And since then, they've been so happy with that they have this content and they have this tangible stuff that they can use to market their brand from now on. So this comes back to that finding your niche, being good at it, and then exploring your versatility, because never before have I ever shot anything like this. I was never a photojournalist guy. Actually, I didn't really like it. I didn't really like the event, like, you know, run and gun style, until I went on these trips and I really got outside my box. And of course, there's a lot of rich texture, a lot of rich content there that made it easy. But it was an eye-opening experience, and they consider this stuff to be content that they can advertise with and things that they can market their brand with, for sure. This is in Darjeeling, India. It's in the base of the Himalayas. We went up there to really we wanted to get a whole spectrum of India. And yeah, it's right, so like over here is like Mount Everest. So that's kind of puts it in relation. Mount Everest is pretty far, but it's you could see it. But it was cloudy the most part because of the weather. We went there in a really bad season. So I wanted to leave you with this quote, is that you miss 100% of the shots that you never take. And I love this because it's so true. You got to shoot to find your niche, and you've got to shoot to know your versatility, and you've got to shoot to know what your style is.